In the desolate outskirts of town, where the shadows grow long and the whispers of the unknown dance on the wind, a lone figure trudged over the crunching snow. Jeannine, her voice a desperate cry in the night, shattered the eerie silence with a scream that echoed through the empty field. But her cry was not one of fear. It was a beacon of defiance against the encroaching darkness. The overcast sun set an eerie glow upon her as she darted through the twisted maze of trees, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air was thick with the sense of impending doom as she raced around the murky waters of a small lake, each splash sending ripples of terror through her veins. With every step, the horde of undead grew closer, drawn by the siren call of her desperate plea. But Jeannine was no mere damsel in distress. She was a warrior, a survivor forged in the crucible of chaos. With a heart pounding like a drum, she led the ravenous horde away from the hopefully stocked shelving of the gas station, her every move a dance of death. As the last stragglers fell beneath her relentless assault, she finally breached the threshold of the small gas station. There was no time for rest, no intermission in this deadly game of cat and mouse. With nerves of steel, she plundered the shelves, her hands moving with a frantic desperation as she stuffed her backpack with whatever she could find. But even as she fought for survival, danger lurked in every shadow. A lone zombie lay in wait outside the back door, its eyes gleaming with hunger as it lunged for her throat. With a savage fury, Jeannine beat back the fiendish creature, leaving it nothing but a lifeless husk splattered upon the ground. With her heart pounding in her chest, she ascended the stairs to the unknown, each creak of the wooden steps a harbinger of doom. Yet the upstairs offered no solace, no sanctuary from the horrors below. With a grim determination, she gathered what supplies she could find before fleeing back downstairs. With the taste of victory still fresh upon her lips, she raced through the snowy field, her van a beacon of hope in the sea of despair. With a roar of the engines and a spray of gravel, she tore down the road, leaving the horrors of the town far behind. But even as she fled, the hunger gnawed at her insides, a reminder of the perilous journey that lay ahead. And as she disappeared into the embrace of the forest, her mind filled with visions of the feast that awaited her. Unconcerned with the darkness that lurked just beyond the trees. As dusk wrapped its inky tendrils around her secluded haven, Jeannine sat amidst the quiet solitude of her campsite. Her newfound treasures scattered around her like the spoils of a victorious conqueror. With trembling hands, still haunted by the memories of the chase, she meticulously sorted through her plunder, each item a tangible reminder of the dangers she had faced. But in the flickering sunset, amidst the comforting embrace of her makeshift shelter, Jeannine found a moment of relief. With a defiant flick of her lighter, she ignited a cigarette, the acrid smoke swirling around her like a protective cloak against the encroaching night. And as she inhaled deeply, the dizzying rush of nicotine brought a fleeting sense of calm, a temporary amnesty from the horrors that lurked just beyond the edge of her sanctuary. With her nerves now soothed, Jeannine indulged in the sweet decadence of her plundered snacks, the taste of victory mingling with the lingering tang of smoke upon her lips. And as she settled into the familiar rhythm of her routine, her thoughts turned to the simple pleasures of life, the thrill of the hunt, the satisfaction of a full belly, and the quiet companionship of her faithful friend who remained safe back at the farm, Molly. But even as the days passed in a blur of foraging and fishing, a relentless energy stirred within Jeannine's heart. The lure of adventure called to her once more, beckoning her back to the forgotten remnants of civilization that lay beyond the safety of her forest refuge. And so, with a sense of purpose burning bright within her soul, Jeannine embarked on a journey back to the world she had left behind. With each abandoned home she plundered and every piece of salvaged lumber she claimed, she honed her skills, and fortified her resolve, determined to carve out a life for herself in this unforgiving world. And as the first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of rose and gold, Jeannine returned to her farmhouse haven, a triumphant smile playing upon her lips. With Molly awaiting her inside and a bounty of fresh vegetables she had gathered from her garden in her arms, she stepped across the threshold, the weight of her adventures finally beginning to lift from her weary shoulders. With a satisfied sigh, Jeannine set to work preparing a lavish feast, the aroma of simmering stew filling the air with a tantalizing promise of comfort and sustenance. And as she savored each mouthful of the hearty meal, she couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude, again, for the simple joys that life had to offer. The warmth of a home, the nourishment of a good meal, and the unwavering companionship of a loyal friend. And so, as the evening stretched long into the night, Jeannine sat contentedly by the fire, her belly full and her heart light. For amidst the chaos and uncertainty of the world outside, she had found a haven of peace and tranquility within the walls of her farmhouse sanctuary, a place where she could rest, replenish, and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. In the flickering glow of the fire, casting dancing shadows upon the worn walls of her sanctuary, Jeannine sat amidst the remnants of her feast, the savory aroma of stew mingling with the scent of burning wood. With a can of tuna nestled amidst the vegetables, she devoured yet another hearty concoction, each spoonful a symphony of flavors that warmed her soul. But as the firelight danced upon her skin, Jeannine's gaze turned to the bandaged wound on her thigh, a reminder of the trials she had faced and the battles she had fought. With steady hands, she peeled back the layers of cloth, revealing the puckered flesh beneath. Though the wound appeared to be healing, the journey to recover had been a slow and arduous one, plagued by the constant threat of infection and the relentless march of time. With a sense of determination burning bright within her heart, Jeannine donned a pair of surgical gloves, her movements methodical and precise as she cleansed the wound with antiseptic. And as she delicately removed the sutures, one by one, a wave of relief washed over her, the pain giving way to a sense of liberation as the last stitch was undone. With the wound now bare and exposed to the cold night air, Jeannine marveled at the resilience of her body, a testament to the strength and tenacity of the human spirit. And as she dressed the wound once more, a fresh wave of gratitude washed over her, a silent acknowledgement of the miracle of healing that had taken place before her very eyes. Bolstered by the nourishing stew and the newfound sense of hope that pulsed within her veins, Jeannine resolved to seize the day with renewed vigor. And so, as the first light of dawn painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson, she set to work clearing the overgrown garden, her hands moving with a purposeful determination as she carved out a haven amidst the wilderness. As the day wore on and the sun reached its zenith, Jeannine's efforts bore fruit. The garden transformed into a suitable clearing amidst the desolation of the world outside. And as she stood amidst the fruits of her labor, a sense of pride swelled within her heart, a silent testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. But even as she marveled at the transformation taking place before her eyes, Jeannine could not shake the gnawing sense of unease that lingered in the back of her mind. And so, with a determined resolve, she set to work fortifying her defenses, her hands deftly stitching together patches of denim and cloth to reinforce her clothing against the ever-present threat of the undead. And as she surveyed her handiwork in the dim light of the evening, a sense of satisfaction washed over her, a silent acknowledgement of the strength and vitality that had carried her through the darkest of days. For amidst the chaos and uncertainty of the world outside, Jeannine had found solace in the simple act of survival, a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. In the quiet pre-dawn hours, long before the sun dared to cast its golden rays upon the world, Jeannine emerged from the safety of her farmhouse sanctuary. With the chill of the early morning air biting at her skin, her footsteps silent on the frost-kissed earth, Jeannine set forth on her next venture, her steps guided by the silent whispers of the wind. As she approached the junction where the highway met the dirt road, the air was thick with the stench of decay, the unmistakable scent of death lingering upon the breeze. With a steady hand and a heart filled with resolve, Jeannine lured the undead to her, one by one, their vacant eyes betraying their diminished perception. And as she dispatched them with ruthless efficiency, she made her way across the road to a cluster of structures that stood silent and still amidst the chaos. But as she searched the abandoned buildings for supplies, her hunger grew with each passing moment, a relentless reminder of the dangers that lurked just beyond the safety of her hideout. And as the sun began its slow descent towards the horizon, casting long shadows across the barren landscape, Jeannine knew it was time to retreat. With weary limbs and a heavy heart, she made her way back to the farm, her mind racing with thoughts of the countless undead she had faced that day. 80 monsters slain, yet so little to show for her efforts. But with each passing day, she grew stronger, her resolve unyielding in the face of adversity. And as the darkness of night enveloped her, she closed her eyes, knowing that with each dawn, she would rise again to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the first light of dawn painted the sky yet again, a restless energy stirred within Jeannine's soul. The familiar ache of hunger gnawed at her belly, driving her to seek out sustenance in the desolate world that lay beyond the safety of her farmhouse resort. And with a sense of purpose burning bright within her heart, Jeannine climbed behind the wheel of her van, the engine roaring to life beneath her touch. And as she navigated the winding roads that stretched out before her, her mind was consumed by a whirlwind of questions, each one a haunting reminder of the mysteries that shrouded the world in darkness. What had become of the world she once knew? Were there others out there like her, struggling to survive amidst the chaos and despair? And could she, in her newfound strength and resilience, offer to aid those in need? But as she drove on, her thoughts were abruptly shattered by the deafening roar of a burst tire, the sound echoing through the stillness of the morning like a gunshot. With a deft hand, Jeannine maneuvered the van to the side of the road, her heart sinking with the realization of yet another obstacle in her path. The road stretched out before her like an endless ribbon of asphalt. Jeannine knew that whatever trials lay ahead, she would face them head-on, with courage and determination blazing in her heart. For in the darkest of times, she had learned that the true measure of a person's strength lay not in their ability to avoid adversity, but in their resilience in the face of it. And even as the cold wind whipped at her skin and the van lay crippled before her, Jeannine refused to be deterred. With a steely determination in her eyes, she abandoned the van and set forth on foot, her grip tight around the handle of her machete. For she knew that she was no longer the same woman who had set out on this journey so many months ago. She was stronger now, forged in the crucible of adversity, her spirit unbreakable in the face of hardship.